Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1228B, and today's date is March 14th, 2017, and the title of the episode is The Rothschild Are the Controlling Party? Have they orchestrated it all? Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I uploaded an interview with Andy Hoffman. It is on the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and you type in X22 Report Spotlight, it'll bring you right to the video. Or you can come over to the X22Report.com site, scroll down a little bit, you'll see it on the right-hand side. You can play the video there. Or you can go to newsentinel.com. Same thing, scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side. You'll see the video there, and you can play it right on the site. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we know there's this whole debate going on between Trump's new health plan and Obamacare, and Nancy Pelosi was out there, and she was the one that said, you need to pass it to see what's inside the Obamacare bill, but she wanted to prove to everyone how great Obamacare was. So she tweeted out a link to the White House website asking her followers to share their experience with the Affordable Care Act. Now, I don't think she realizes how people really think of Obamacare, who actually have Obamacare. I'm not talking about the people who have jobs, who have their insurance through the companies, because that's not Obamacare. Those individuals, the middle class, who have to pay for it. And I'm not talking about the people that get the subsidies from the government. And I think these people are so out of touch, they have no idea what's going on. So she tweeted it out, share your story. And what we've been seeing here is that many individuals are writing in, and they're telling her exactly how they feel. Number one, healthcare insurance for dad and two younger siblings is $800 per month. This is not affordable for a middle-class family. Another one, costs went through the roof. Another one, my costs have skyrocketed under Obamacare, out of pocket almost twice what I paid pre-Obamacare. I need surgery and I can't get it because the deductible is too high. Been in pain for 2 years. Some people have deductibles around $10,000. And she's getting tweet after tweet after tweet of all of these type of messages. And we can see at this point, these government officials, they're completely out of touch of what is going on with the people. And now we can see why when they voted for Obamacare, all the government officials, they didn't take it. They opted out. They were exempt from it. And we can see why. Because they didn't want it. Only the lower people can get it. Only the serfs can get that type of insurance. We get the good stuff. Now, it looks like it's been confirmed because there have been reports about Obama using Freddie and Fannie funds to pay for Obamacare, and a careful analysis of the Treasury Department's agency financial report for fiscal year 2013. Well, this provides evidence the Obama administration stole from Fannie and Freddie investors to fund Obamacare. Guided by a CPA who worked for 2 years for a major U.S. accounting firm as an outside auditor for Freddie Mac, it looks like Infowars has documented the Treasury Department's 2013 financial reports, how the Obama administration diverted funds into Obamacare, billions of dollars. On August 17, 2012, the Obama administration finalized the amendment of the Treasury Department's senior preferred stock agreement with Fannie and Freddie that deprived private and institutional investors of their legally due dividend payments. This enabled the Obama Treasury Department to confiscate billions of dollars in Fannie and Freddie earnings in what is known as the net worth sweep. The $126.6 billion that the Treasury received from the Fannie and Freddie NWS is also noted in the consolidated statement of the net costs for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2013 and 2012. And that report, that information is published on page 50. So we are looking at this and we can see that he was funding this by stealing money, just like Clinton took money from Social Security to help along the government's budget, and Social Security money belongs to the people. So we can see what they're doing. This is one gigantic Ponzi scheme. And all they're doing is shifting funds from here to there, creating bubbles, helping Fannie and Freddie, taking funds from that, shifting it into another program. Why do they have to do all this? Well, first, most of their programs don't work. Second, the government's broke. Third, they have to keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. The system that we're in right now, unsustainable, and it's getting worse as we move forward. Now, we see that McCain is out there and the corporate media is out there, and they said, we want proof from Trump. We want to know how Obama wiretapped Trump's office. And Judge Andrew Napolitano, he is out there saying, well, this is how it was done. He went to the British spy agency, GCHQ, to obtain a transcript of the conversation involving President Donald Trump. He said 3 intelligence sources have informed him that President Obama went outside the chain of command. He didn't use the NSA, he didn't use the CIA, he didn't use the FBI, and he didn't use the Department of Justice. He used GCHQ. That's the initials for the British spy agency. They have a 24/7 access to the NSA database. So by simply having 2 people go to them saying President Obama needs transcripts of conversations involving Trump, they were provided to him. And there is no American fingerprints on this whatsoever. There's not most likely going to be a paper trail where the Pfizer court actually has Trump's name on it, because we know he tried twice, and the third time they left it off. Now, they might be able to find that order, but we can see right now they've been covering their tracks. And McCain and the rest, they want to know what Trump has. This is why they're asking right now. They want to know how much information they have found out. And most likely, they need this information so they can maybe have certain individuals removed, or maybe they need to blackmail them to keep them quiet. So we can see at this point that Trump right now is asking for additional time. He wants to get everything in order. And I said it before, he needs to come out with something to show that he's just not making this stuff up. So eventually, he's going to have to produce something. We know WikiLeaks, they leaked that document, Vault 7, saying that CIA spies on everyone, but I don't believe that's going to be enough. He's going to need more to convince, to show hard proof that yes, they were listening in on his conversations. Now, yesterday, we talked about how the establishment, the deep state, the central bankers, wanted to remove Trump. Now, we talked about how Trump might be an insider, outsider. We will know from his actions. And we can see already that Julian Assange is stating that Hillary, Intel officials, they're quietly pushing a Pence takeover. Assange tweeted out, Clinton stated privately this month that she is quietly pushing for a Pence takeover. She stated that Pence is predictable, hence defeatable. He also tweeted out, 2 IC officials close to Pence stated privately this month that they are planning on a Pence takeover. Did not state if Pence agrees or not, but it looks like they're pushing this agenda. Now again, Trump is either going to go along with the deep state and the establishment, or they're going to get they're going to remove him. And one way is the legal way, through impeachment or other methods. If that doesn't work, they're going to take it to the next level. And we will know which side Trump is on. Now, we're starting to see signs that he might be leaning towards the deep state, because we see what's happening in the Middle East. We understand there's troops arriving there. The agenda to get Assad is still on. We see the push to North Korea to provoke North Korea into a war or doing something is on. They're not really speaking to North Korea. So this gives me doubts of what side he's actually on at this point. Yes, he's doing other surface stuff, but we can see right now we need to look at the whole picture. And we need to watch his actions and what he does, because that will give us the answer of which way he goes or which way he's leaning. Now, we know elections are coming up in Germany very soon, in France, in the Netherlands, and many other areas. And we realize those individuals that are in power, they don't want to give up their power. And this is why they've been bringing up Russia cyber attacking the election system. They're trying to paint individuals in a negative light, just like they did Trump when he was running. And we can see right now that Angela Merkel out in Germany, she is pushing to control social media, because she understands that there are individuals out there that don't want her to be elected. And she realizes that social media is a powerful tool. People read it, and she doesn't want anything out there that is negative to her. And it looks like Germany right now is setting up a new law to punish social media networks for permitting hate speech. So if there is any type of hate speech or anything that they deem hateful, they will have the social media platforms get rid of it. And we can see already that they're doing this with YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and it's basically controlling the speech of people. And the new law mandates a code of conduct to be enforced, removing illegal material, reporting on the volume of complaints, and to make it easier for other people to tell on one another if they believe that it is hateful. And again, it all depends on what you think is hateful, because one thing is hateful to one person and it's not hateful to another person. And again, this is controlling what is on social media. Now, out in Afghanistan, we understand that they want to bring in more troops. And we see John McCain, Lindsey Graham, they're out there and they're calling on the Trump administration to send additional U.S. troops to Afghanistan. Wasn't Obama bringing everyone home? We knew that was fake, phony, and false. We proved that many, many times. We knew the only reason they were coming home is because Karzai, at the time, did not sign the bilateral security agreement. When the new president was elected, he signed it, and the troops started to come back in. They froze how many people were leaving, and we can see already that they're ramping up the troops in Afghanistan because we were never leaving that area, ever. We see that China right now, well, they're preparing countermeasures against South Korea. Or are they preparing countermeasures against the United States? Because they know the THAAD anti-missile system is being brought into South Korea. Other armaments are being brought into South Korea, and it looks like China understands what's going on here. They understand there's a war coming. China wants the United States to speak to North Korea to try to put this whole thing to rest. But we can see right now the United States, under now the Trump administration, they're not speaking to North Korea. This is an indicator that he's going along with the deep state, because this is what they wanted from the beginning. And again, we'll have to watch and see how this is. Now, China is out there, and their concern was not just South Korea and the deployment of the American system, but also the United States' broader potential to contain the region. Because what they're seeing is that there's missiles in Japan, Singapore, the Philippines, Taiwan, Australia, and it's all encircling China. And they see the writing on the wall. We see out in Libya, Libya's Haftar, General Haftar, is out there, and he's launching offensives on the oil terminals. He realizes he needs to take these back. So he's fighting the UN-backed government and other factions in Libya. And we see Russia, they're deploying special forces in Egypt to support Haftar. So we see a lot happening right now, and we're going to have to watch this situation very carefully, because if we see U.S. troops or the coalition forces going into Libya or making a case, because already we're hearing and getting word that the Islamic State is regrouping in Libya. This is what they normally do. This is how the U.S. says, okay, we need to go back into this country. The only reason they need to go back into this country is because they're losing control. That fake government that they put into place in Libya is not doing what they want, and they're going to lose control of the country. And this is not just happening in Libya. It's happening in Yemen. It's happening in Lebanon. It's happening in Iraq. It's happening in Syria. This is where they wanted to get into this country, and they wanted to remove Assad from that country. Now, Turkey is looking to purchase the S-400 system, and they are looking to get a loan from Russia. And right now, they're holding talks right now, and they're looking to get a loan from Russia so they can start the purchases of the S-400 missile system. Now, Russia put forth a draft UNSC statement on Damascus when it was attacked. And right now, Russia is recalling it, saying that the Western countries tried to change the document's essence. Now, according to Russia's foreign ministry, the Security Council often fails to find a common language on the Syrian crisis. Thus, the politically motivated position of a number of its Western members made it impossible to reach consensus on the Russian initiative draft press statement condemning the terror attacks in Damascus on March 11th. Now, the United States and other Western countries changed the documentation and kind of accused the Syrian authorities, Assad, for the justification of what the terrorists did in the country. And Russia read this and said, well, wait a minute. These are terrorists. and you're supporting the terrorist side, this makes no sense whatsoever. And we can see right now, the United States and the coalition forces have done this before, where they've sided with the terrorists. And we can see right now, Tulsi Gabbard and Rand Paul, they're out there, and they have introduced two bills, H.R. 608 and S. 532. And both of these bills aim to prohibit any federal agency from using taxpayer dollars to provide weapons, cash, intelligence, or any support to Al-Qaeda, the Islamic State, or any other terrorist groups. It would also prohibit the government from funneling money and weapons through other countries or using other methods. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop the CIA and the covert money going into the terrorist groups. And they're actually saying, by doing this, that the United States supports and arms terrorists. It's right out there in the open. And we can see right now, this is what the United States government central bankers have been doing for quite a while. Now, Assad, well, he is saying that he is ready for a referendum on the future of his country. And he's saying that the people need to decide. Now, he's been saying this for a long time. So has Russia. The only country that says the people shouldn't decide is the United States. Under Obama, they don't want the people to decide who should be the president of Syria. Just like they put in a UN-backed government into Libya, they didn't like the people to decide. What kind of democracy is that? There is none. So when asked whether he was ready, he said, yes, I am ready for the people to make a decision of who should be the elected head of state. And he said the Syrian people, well, they should choose their president, and the United Nations shouldn't be involved. The United States should not be involved. Russia should not be involved. The people will decide who their leader is going to be. And yes, this is what the United States government central bankers are most worried of. They're worried that the people will make a decision. And around the world, people will see that the Syrian people decided to keep Assad. Because right now, most likely, he is in the lead. There's really no one to go up against him. He brought Russia in. He's removing the terrorists. He's stuck by the country throughout all these years. And what kind of argument is the United States going to make? It's going to be very difficult. And that's why they're going to have to plan some type of an event. And we see that there are troops already there. We can see that preparations are being made to invade Syria. And we're going to have to see what Trump does at this point. This is going to be a deciding factor of which side he is leaning towards. But when we look past all of this, we see something very interesting. And this has to do with The Economist magazine and the Rothschild, the entire central bank system and in what they want to do. Now, if we go back to 1988, we see the magazine cover of this eagle with a gold coin, says 2018, and currency burning on the bottom, which shows us that in 2018, most likely they'll be ushering in a new currency. Fast forward to 2015, well, this cover shows a lot of individuals on the front. We see Obama, we see Angela Merkel, we see Putin, and we see that the faces are black and white, and we see other faces that are color. The faces that are black and white, the Rothschild, well, they control the situation. They control these individuals. They're under their thumb. And when we look around on this page, we see certain things. We see two arrows with two different numbers on it, and it could be November 5th or November 3rd, or if you add the numbers together, it could be July 5th. And looking at what people have said in the past, we understand that something is going to happen during the summer where things start to break down. So it could be that July 5th date, or if you take the numbers literally, it's in the November time frame. We also see a nuclear explosion in the top right-hand corner. We also see a missile system launch, which is all very interesting. And we see Pied Piper, which is also very interesting. And if we look through the Podesta emails and we look through the attachments on these emails, we see something very interesting because they do mention Pied Piper, where they need individuals and make it look like that they are the candidates and they will never win. And they call them the Pied Pipers, that people will follow them. And one of the names is Ted Cruz. The other name is Donald Trump. And we can see right now, this fits into the magazine cover. So was he presented to us? It's starting to look that way. Then we fast forward to 2016 and we see another cover here. And this cover shows a group of people, and this time the coloring on the faces, they're different. We see that Putin and Xi Jinping are no longer black and white. They are in color. Have they separated? Are they no longer under the control of the Rothschilds? Maybe, maybe not. But it's very interesting how all of a sudden things have changed. Hillary Clinton is in there now, and we can see how these things are being shaped. Then we fast forward to 2017 and that magazine cover. And on this cover, there are tarot cards. And when we look at these tarot cards, we can see the Hermit, where this individual is standing on top of this little hilltop. And down below, you see all the people saying, we don't want this, we don't want that. And that individual on top of the hill is the Rothschild, looking down at what people are doing and what people are upset about, where this is their world, and how dare you object to what we want to do. And then we move on to the Wheel of Fortune, where we have Angela Merkel, where there's a dark cloud and a lightning bolt. Looks like she's being removed. It looks like the EU is doomed. Marine Le Pen is being moved into the Wheel of Fortune. And we can see things are changing now. And then we have the Judgment card, where Donald Trump is in a black suit. Looks like he's going to a funeral. He's holding a crown and a scepter, but he's not sitting on the world itself. He's really sitting on the United States. And the Rothschilds are saying, listen, either you go along with us or it's your funeral, because you're only controlling the United States. And this is the Judgment. And then we have the Death card, where we see gold nuggets on the ground, a dried up lake bed, a nuclear explosion, death, mosquitoes, which means disease. And it looks like this is the big reset, where there's war to cover up the collapse. There's going to be death, disease. And on the other side of this, it looks like there'll be gold, the reset. And of course, it's going to be in their image. So when we look at all this, it looks like the central bankers have planned this out. Now, if you want to see more of this and discuss a little bit more in detail, you can go to the X22 Report Newsflash YouTube channel, and you can see the video there, and you can watch the whole thing. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.